So picture it. You have this amazing dream, right? You go to bed at night, you're sleeping, and all of a sudden you wake up one morning and you have this God-given vision, this dream, this plan, this newfound purpose that you say that you have. And so then all of a sudden you say to yourself, I gotta tell somebody about this. It's just too amazing not to tell anybody. So you tell your brother or your sister, or you go and tell your best friend. And then all of a sudden, this perfect, God-given, drop from heaven vision that you were so sold on, they start to tell you how it can and how it won't, and what you don't have and what you should have to bring that vision to pass. And bam, you no longer have vision, you now have a double vision. And on this episode of the What I Know Now podcast, I'm gonna show you how to go from carrying a double vision to going back to having singular, focused vision. Welcome everybody to the What I Know Now podcast. I am your host, Chris Ford, where 9 times out of 10, I've been through what you've been through. So let's get into it. Vision. Vision is how we basically set our intention on our businesses, figure out what matrix we may need, figure out what the problem is that we're trying to solve and help people in business. But a lot of the times, the problem doesn't come in not having the right market, not having the right team around, but we start to entertain people who we feel are influential in our life. We start to not just take their opinions. It's always good to be able to take opinions from other people, and you most definitely want to listen to your customer and try to put in the things that your customers say they would like to see done within the business to continue to keep those customers in. The problem comes in when we ever start to entertain another person's vision. That's when we get double vision. Double vision is when you have your vision, but you also entertain everybody else's version of it. So you may have had a wonderful vision to start organic cookies, and then someone comes and tells you, well, you should add chocolate chips. And then after they tell you to add chocolate chips, you should add cookie pieces. And then maybe don't add cookie pieces, add nuts instead. Well, don't do nuts, do this type of nut. That's what naturally, and you don't really realize it in the beginning, starts to slow you down. So what does double vision look like? It looks like stagnation. Double vision looks like I can't make a decision because literally you now have a boardroom of people in your head telling you what you should be doing for something that came up through your spirit, came to your mind, that came from God or the universe or whatever it is that you believe. I believe inspiration comes from God. So however you got it, I firmly believe yes, there are people that can help you along the way with it, but you have to go back to the source. Maybe you have some type of spiritual practice. Maybe you fast. Maybe you pray. Maybe you meditate. You have to take it back to the source as to where you got it. Split vision equals split power, which equals split focus, which equals split faith. In order to fully bring something totally to conception, totally to term as to what you want to put out there, whether it be content, a business, whether you want to come up with some new marketing or sales strategy, you have to have a singular focused vision in order to have faith for it. Otherwise, what are you totally believing in? Because what I have come to realize is a lot of people who've given me ideas about business, and a lot of people who have told me like, well, you should do it this way, and you should do it that way, and you should do it this way. A lot of those people aren't even around. And if you take a moment to fully think to yourself about the people who you told things to, who went on and left your life and you no longer saw them again, but yet you respected their opinion so much above yours to where it kept bringing you back to ground zero. Funny thing, I've always had a idea of having like a talk show. Before Instagram was such a big thing, and before YouTube was really, on the train tracks running, I wanted to produce like a talk show. So I did a whole talk show. It was me, and it was very much set up like what you see on The View. And I did a talk show with me as like the moderator, so I'd be like the Whoopi Goldberg of the group. And then I had like 4 other men who were all part of like this talk show. And so at that time I was very, very self-conscious, and really didn't want to embrace the loneliness that business can bring and overall brings to you. So I invited these group of men. I really loved the concept of the talk show, but really at this point, I can really be honest in life, I just really wanted that camaraderie of having a group of people around to kind of help bear the loneliness that I was feeling. And everybody had an opinion as to what the show should look like. There was one executive producer, which was me, but everybody had an opinion on what the show should look like. Now, where's these niggas at now? Is really a quick side note, quick question I would like to ask. Where's these niggas now? All these opinions, all these conversations, all these we shoulds and what ifs and maybes and possiblies, and I don't even talk to any of them anymore, but I digress. But the matter of the fact is, bringing in so many people just because I wanted to be convenienced out of my own loneliness totally didn't just give me vision, it gave me 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different visions. And by the time I got done embracing everybody's vision, not opinions, because you should always take in the opinions or take in suggestions and filter that out, how that can be received into your business, and decide what will be the best direction for you to go. You don't want to silo yourself out to where your voice is the only voice, but when your vision becomes obsolete to those who you are asking guidance from, when you are the originator, that's when we start running into problems. Long story short, the show never really got up off the ground. And then eventually what I started seeing was this guy popped up with a form of what I was doing, and the next guy popped up with a form of what I was doing, and then another guy popped up with a form of what I was doing. And when I would try to reach out and ask questions or try to possibly reconnect, because we all have a tendency to one connection and we always go back and try to reconnect, the number you have dialed is no longer in service. Double vision. One of the most dangerous things you can have early on as an entrepreneur. You can't run 2 races at once. Now, understand this. There is serial entrepreneurship where you have the vision and then you have branches off from that vision. And then there's where you have the vision and then you put someone else on your back and you become the horse to their jockey. And they're basically telling you, go here, go there, go faster, or go slower. You can't do that right now. You shouldn't do it like this. You can't do it there. There's no market for that. You aren't the type of person for that. It becomes very dangerous because it starts to take root in a place with you where you start to feel an overflow of self-doubt in other places where you were so confident in. You may have been a person that was very confident in public speaking and now you second guess every time that you speak. You may have been a person that was very good in sales. Now you second guess every time you're trying to make a sales. You no longer respect your marketing ideas. Now you become so reliant and people have become the lifeline for something that wasn't originally given to them. So one of the main things that I learned when it comes to having your vision, fully embracing it as to what you want to see produced in the world from your own blood, sweat, and tears, you can't tell everybody. Side note, just stop talking so damn much. I mean, a lot of times we just really talk to people and we go and ask them for their opinions and all that because we start second guessing ourselves. I would venture to say, get some fucking self-confidence. Self-confidence doesn't come overnight, but you gotta start somewhere. And a great way to try to figure out and build your own self-confidence, think about it like this. Say you have a color that you always have loved, but people say you're too fat for that, or you're too skinny for that, or that just doesn't look good for your body type. Put that color on and then intentionally go out and walk around, and you'll see when you are confident in it, people become confident in your decision of what you have chosen for yourself. Confidence is not something that we're just born with, but rather confidence is like a muscle. You have to exercise it. You have to figure it out. There's going to be a lot of things that come in life that are a shock to your confidence, but it's up to you to work the muscle. So double vision, quadruple vision, his vision, her vision, they vision, fuck with their vision. How do I get back to singular vision? Well, it's simple. Taking it back to its original state and form. What was the instruction that I got when I initially came up with the idea? What was it that was the spark, was the trigger? Because the spark is what creates the fire overall. You want to go from fire to full-on inferno, and you can't constantly create an inferno or have a fire with people constantly throwing water or what they think it should be on top of what you're trying to create into the world. So don't let people just dilute it because they don't understand it. Hear me well, lean into your phone, push the phone to your face, and hear me so well when I say this. When people don't get it, that is your evidence that that's the vision for you to carry. When people say, I don't get it and I don't think you should and that doesn't make sense, and don't they already have something like that? When you're having those moments, that's not your moment to doubt. That is your moment for confirmation. When someone tells you you're too fat for that, or you're too skinny for this, or you're too short for that, that is the very confirmation that says, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. When you have cheers coming from everybody saying, oh yes, it's so great, it's so wonderful, keep on going, that's when you should be afraid. When you're doing everything that is so acceptable to everybody across the board, you are living in double vision because you are totally embracing what they perceive to be right for you, what they perceive to be right for your business. When people think it's the wrong thing, or you shouldn't do it that way, or it can't be done, or there's no market, or there's no money, I look at it like this. During COVID, businesses were shut down. There's no money for this, there's no money for that. And people were still building businesses. People were still building buildings. People were still running companies when people said that they can't and they shouldn't. So you have to be the person that is so sold out on your singular vision that regardless of what they say, you cannot have, you cannot do, you have to be so sold out on what it is that you want to do that I don't give a damn if you have to take your last $30 and put it towards your vision. I'd rather walk to work, eat noodles, drink water, go on a fast to bring it to pass. You have to have such radical confidence and belief in what it is that you are doing that nothing, not your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your smart auntie, or your wealthy uncles can get in the way and stop you from doing what it is that you know, not just believe, but know you should be doing. So ask yourself, where do I have double vision at? Being on the bridge between what I am, where I'm going, and what I used to be it's already hard enough without having these pit stops of picking up people along the way. I think about the Wizard of Oz. Dorothy could have got there a little bit faster if she wasn't picking up the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion and dealing with their bullshit along the way. Had she just kept her ass up that yellow brick road, she probably wouldn't have ran into so much other bullshit. So, Dorothy, whether you be a guy or a girl, keep walking your own yellow brick road. When I think about the Wizard of Oz, or for some of us, the Wiz, when I think about it like that, all these pit stops along the way stop you from making it home quicker than what you actually could. So where do you have double vision? Where have you been working on a business for the last 3 years that you could have had done 2 years ago? Simply because you've been entertaining everybody's concluded thoughts as to what it should be. And half of them you don't even fuck with anymore. Or they don't fuck with you. So what would happen if you decided today, right now, to close out not just your naysayers, because everybody doesn't have evil intent or bad intentions when they're trying to give you opinion. It's when we embrace it so much to where we handicap the original form and idea. We can expand on ideas, but the original context, the original version, the original idea has to be the center part. Businesses always grow. Different branches always come out. But the mission, the key vision as to why they ask you to write a vision statement, to write a mission statement. What do I see and what do I want it to do? Vision and mission. Your key vision and mission has to be so etched inside of you that I don't care what happens, that you figure out you don't need double vision, but from this moment on, start leaning in to singular vision.